Welcome to the March birthday party. We've been doing this for a whole year, can you believe it? But what happened to February? It just vanished as far as I'm concerned. But isn't March wonderful? As we're recording this, it's about 80 degrees outside and absolutely beautiful. In Florida, this is such a beautiful month. The humidity hasn't come and the weather is warm, it's wonderful. We have azaleas already blooming and we have wonderful walks to take on the beach. This is a little poem about March by Wordsworth. The cock is crowing, the stream is flowing, the small birds twitter, the lake doth glitter. The green field sleeps in the sun. The oldest and youngest are at work with the strongest. The cattle are grazing, their heads never raising. There are 40 feeding like one. Like an army defeated, the snow hath retreated, and now doth fare ill on the top of the bare hill. The plowboy is whooping anon. There's joy in the mountains, there's life in the fountains. Small clouds are sailing, blue sky revealing. The rain and the snow is over and gone. There are a couple of songs from March that I thought we could all sing together, and I hope you'll help us at home. We have a pretty small group here in Crichton Hall today for this filming, so we need your voices to help us along. We're going to sing a couple of March songs. One is My Wild Irish Rose, and the second one is I'm Looking Over a Four-Leaf Clover, and I know you know these. You sounded absolutely fabulous. I know you did. This month, we share with Pisces and Aries. The Pisces horoscope for the month has lots of changes coming to your zodiac sign. Right at the top, March is looking promising and much smoother than previous months, and I think we all need that. We might even think of this month as a well-needed vacation. Communications will be effective, and our ideas will be heard, and we will express them well. Listening skills will go up, and arguments for argument's sake will just go away. Our artistic skills will be awakened, and by the time we hit March 13, the new moon, we should be ready for just about anything. Clarity is our destiny, and we'll be making the right choices. Later in the month, signs are that our sensitive side should emerge. We may be feeling more compassionate and even more sympathetic to others we know. Aries, you have a nice horoscope too. Your month is going to be filled with a little stress and confusion, but when you get to the last week, you're going to feel just as if Cupid shot that arrow right through you, allowing you to feel all the love in the world. It's looking like a great month for family, business, and for gatherings. Financially, your stress levels are way down, and you should feel very secure and safe. March looks good for Aries in terms of health and well-being, as long as you keep to your schedule and stay on top of your health. All good advice, right? We have some famous holidays. March 1, Monday, is National Pig Day. I probably won't celebrate that, except that I seem to be eating a lot these days. But it is National Peanut Butter Lovers Day, and I probably will celebrate that one. The 5th is Dress in Blue Day, and the 8th is International Women's Day. The 9th is National Meatball Day, and it's also Just Get Over It Day. All right, and on the 14th, remember, Daylight Savings Time begins already. How can that be? The 15th is the Ides of March, and the 17th, Corned Beef and Cabbage Day and St. Patrick's Day. The 19th is Let's Laugh About Anything Day, and the 20th is the start of spring. It's already started here, it's okay. One of the best holidays for celebrating without guilt in March, it's St. Patrick's Day. This holiday in honor of the patron saint of Ireland is a day of celebrating Irish history, traditions, and customs. Éireann go bragh is the most common Irish term you'll hear. Ireland forever. My friends celebrate with green beer and green Jell-O shots, I think. There's a wonderful Irish blessing that I like. It goes like this. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May a rainbow be certain to follow each rain. May the rain fall softly upon your fields, and the sun shine warm upon your face. We have one birthday of a friend in the health center this month, and that's Florence Vandenberg. She has her birthday on March 31, the very last day of the month. But on the first day of the month, it's Betty Chisholm's birthday. I decided this time that I would find one or two events on your special day that I hope you remember. I tried to make them good events. I don't know if I always succeeded. In 1781, Betty, the Articles of Confederation were officially adopted in the United States after they were ratified by the state of Maryland. And in 1845, President Tyler annexed the state of Texas. So, that's how we got Texas. And now the poor people have suffered so with the snow that we hope that they're going to have some spring coming too very soon. There's some wonderful birthdays for you to celebrate, people who had birthdays on March 1. One of my favorite composers, Frédéric Chopin, Glenn Miller, the great band leader, David Niven, the actor, Dinah Shore, the singer, Harry Belafonte, Ron Howard, and Justin Bieber. Even though we're old, we kind of know who Justin Bieber is, don't we? On March 2, birthday of my neighbor, Jane Blocker. Jane has been so active here and has been working so hard on the council, and she has a birthday on March 2. In 1796, Napoleon Bonaparte was appointed commander-in-chief of the French army in Italy. And in 1867, I thought you'd kind of like this one. Jesse James's gang robbed a bank in Missouri, and one person was killed. But here's your favorite. In 1933, King Kong, the movie, premiered in Radio City Music Hall. In 1793, on March 2, Sam Houston was born. In 1903, Dr. Seuss. 1917, Desi Arnaz. 1931, Mikhail Gorbachev. And in 1968, the actor Daniel Craig. On March 4, it's Bruce Baggs' birthday. On this day, in 1628, King Charles I was granted a royal charter to the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And in 1681, a lot of charters happened on March 4. William Penn got a charter from Charles II, which made him the sole proprietor of Pennsylvania. Another favorite composer was born on this day, Vivaldi, Anton Vivaldi. In 1888, Knute Rockne was born. 1901, Charles Gorin, the great bridge master. And in 1932, a wonderful singer, I don't know if you all know her, but her name is Miriam Makeba. She's from South Africa. She's a wonderful singer. Happy birthday on March 4, Bruce. On March 5, we have two birthdays, John Young and Bill Dickinson. In 1770, on March 5, that was the date of the Boston Massacre, when some British soldiers killed 5 people, one of whom was Crispus Attucks. So that was the beginning of something very important on John and Bill's birthday. And in 1853, and we have one right here, the Steinway Piano Company was formed in New York City. That was in 1853, still going strong. And on this day, March 5, King Henry II was born in 1133. In 1908, the great actor Rex Harrison was born. Villalobos, the composer, in 1887. Dean Stockwell, the actor, in 1936. Penn Jillette, do you know him, the magician, in 1955. And Andy Gibb of the Bee Gees in 1958. Last year, when we had the birthday party, I recall, I asked Judy Walk to come up on her birthday, and she didn't know who that was. She just sat and looked at me. I kept saying, Judy. And she said, no one's called me Judy for years. So I want you all to know that on March 6th, Kiki Walk is having a birthday. And so I hope you will all say happy birthday, Kiki, and just forget that I even told you her name was Judy. In 1836, on this day, the Battle of the Alamo occurred, and David Crockett was killed on this day. In 1951, the trial of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg began for their espionage trial. In 1475, on Kiki's birthday, Michelangelo was born. Elizabeth Barrett Browning in 1806. Lou Costello of Abbott and Costello in 1906. Dave Clark in 1909. And Alan Greenspan, the great economist, in 1926. March 9 is Barbara Argan's birthday. And on March 9, in 1864, Ulysses Grant was appointed the commander of the Union Army. And in 1950, I don't know why I got so taken with people robbing banks, but I don't know, it just sounded like a fun thing. Billy Sutton robbed a bank, a manufacturer's bank, of $64,000, so he did pretty well for that day and time. And on this day, March 9, Vespucci was born in 1454, Samuel Barber, the composer, in 1910, Ornette Coleman, the great sax player, 1930, Yuri Gagarin, you remember him, the Russian cosmonaut in 1934, and Bobby Fischer, the chess master in 1943. On March 10, it's Helga Nofsinger's birthday. And Helga, on this date, March 10, in 1849, Abraham Lincoln, I didn't know this, applied for a patent for a device to lift a boat over any kind of obstructions or shoals in the water. And he got a patent for this thing he had invented. And in 1876, on this day, March 10, Alexander Graham Bell made the first telephone call to his assistant and said, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you," into the telephone. And I assume Mr. Watson came running right over because it worked. So, on this day, March 10, in 1847, Kate Shepherd, one of the early suffragettes, was born. Arthur Honegger, the composer, in 1892. James Earl Ray, now there's a name from our past, isn't it? He was born in 1928. Chuck Norris in 1940. Sharon Stone in 1958. And Carrie Underwood in 1983. On March 15, it's Fran Stevens' birthday. And on this date in 1913, the first U.S. presidential press conference was held at this time in 1913. And of course, the 15th is the Ides of March, pretty important date. Andrew Jackson was born in 1767. Do you remember the writer Lawrence Sanders? I read all of his books, I think. But he was born in 1920. And one of my heroines, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was born in 1933, RBG, right? And Eva Longoria in 1975. On March 17, it's my birthday. I've always loved having the birthday at March 17 because it's not like a major holiday. You know, it's not like having your birthday on Christmas or something. But a lot of people can remember your birthday when it's on March 17, and that's just sort of neat. It's really great. So I've loved it. And on this date, actually, St. Patrick was captured by Irish pirates from his home in Great Britain and taken as a slave to Ireland. So that's kind of an important happening on St. Patrick's Day. So I think that we'll just pass over all the other things except that Nat King Cole was born on this date in 1919. And Merle Evers Williams, it was born, and I always really admired her. She was born in 1933. Ken Charlton's birthday is on March 20. And on March 20, in 1852, Ken, Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin was published. And I don't know if this is a favorite restaurant of yours, but in 1930, KFC, Kentucky Fried, was founded by Colonel Sanders right on this date, March 20. So also born on March 20 were Henrik Ibsen, Carl Reiner, who's just such a great actor and comedian and writer, Fred Rogers of the Sweater fame and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Bobby Orr, William Hurt, the actor, Spike Lee, and Holly Hunter, all those wonderful people born on March 20. March 24 is the birthday of my neighbor across the street on Loudon Drive, John Finn. In 1603, John, the Scottish King James VI, the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, became King James I of England, ensuring his succession to Elizabeth I, and that joined the two countries, Scotland and England. And in 1664, Roger Williams got the charter to colonize Rhode Island on your birthday, John, March 24. In 1855, Andrew Mellon was born. Harry Houdini, the great escape artist, in 1874. Clyde Barrow of Bonnie and Clyde in 1909. Joseph Barbera, the animator, he did all the cartoons, in 1911. Steve McQueen in 1930. And John, this one is for you. 1976, guess who? Peyton Manning. I know you like that. All right, now we have two fanfares. Two people get a fanfare on the same birthday. March 25, Jake Jacobs will be 91, and Joe Shafter will be 91. Yay! Poured in chocolates in the dining room. Oh, hopefully we can do that. Anyway, in 1807, Jake and Joe, the British Parliament abolished slave trade throughout the British Empire. What a great day. And in 1919, the Covenant Agreement for President Wilson's League of Nations was approved. Toscanini was born on this date in 1867. David Lean of movie fame in 1908. I think we kind of remember Jack Ruby. He was born on this date in 1911. Gloria Steinem in 1934. Aretha Franklin in 1942. Elton John in 1947. Sarah Jessica Parker in 1965. And Danica Patrick, the great race car driver, in 1982. Jake and Joe, congratulations on your 91st birthdays and on having all these famous people born on your day. On March 28th, it's Jackie McElwee's birthday. And in 1881, on this day, Barnum and Bailey formed the greatest show on earth. In 1990, U.S. President George H.W. Bush posthumously awarded Jesse Owens the Congressional Gold Medal for his exploits in track. On this day, Maxim Gorky was born in Russia, Reba McEntire in 1955, and Lady Gaga in 1986. Wasn't she fabulous at singing the Stars Went Miracles? I thought she was fabulous, incredible. And our last birthday of the month, but on the 29th, it's Clay Mitchell's birthday. And in 1871, Royal Albert Hall was opened by Queen Victoria on this date. Everybody still goes to Royal Albert Hall for concerts. And in 1932, Jack Benny debuted on the radio. He was interviewed by Ed Sullivan. On this date, Clay, on your birthday, Cy Young, the great pitcher, was born in 1867. We still give pictures of Cy Young and Where Did I Leave? Eugene McCarthy in 1916. Sam Walton of Walmart fame was born in 1918. Walt Frazier of the Knicks in 1945. And do you read Amy Sedaris' brother's books? I do. But anyway, she was born on this day. And our final birthday of the month is on March 31. Jane Galbiati will be 92 years old. Congratulations, Jane. What a wonderful milestone, and I hope you have a wonderful birthday. On this day in 1889, the Eiffel Tower opened in Paris. And in 1968, to most people's surprise, Lyndon Baines Johnson announced that he would not run for re-election. On this day, Jane, on your birthday, René Descartes was born in 1596. Oh, and my all-time favorite composer. You know, if you're an organist and you don't like this man, you just can't make it. His name is Johann Sebastian Bach, and he was born in 1685 on this day, March 31. Cesar Chavez was born in 1927. Liz Claiborne in 1929. Al Gore in 1948. And Ewan McGregor in 1971. Happy happy birthday, all of you March honorees. I hope you have a wonderful time. And now we are going to sing for you the very best we can. We're going to sing happy birthday.